according to the pattern I have shown you here on the mountain. And I'm speaking today from the subject simply alignment. Alignment. You may be seated. This is in the context of God speaking very, very specifically to Moses concerning the construction of the Holy Tabernacle, which was God's place that he would actually dwell physically among his people Israel. And the tabernacle was to be put in the center of the whole community of where the people lived. And isn't it interesting that it started out with God, the tabernacle being in the center, so that people's focus was on God, and that God was the center of their community. He was the center of the community. Now we put City Hall at the center. And but God is still God. One time my dad was in a meeting, and somebody said, "Mr. Bronner, you ought to be at the head of the table." My dad said, "Wherever I am is the head." And I believe it is that way with God. If you try to put God on the backside of a mountain, he's God wherever he is. Do you think that if God is in a different position than where you expect him to be, that you diminish God in any way? But here God has given very, very specific instructions, dimensions to Moses concerning how the tabernacle should be constructed. I meant in terms of lengths. This way it was given in terms of cubits. A cubit is the distance generally from a person's elbow about to the tip of the finger. It was roughly 18 inches. So you get all of that. You see those dimensions, that is so many cubits this way. It's approximately 18 inches. He was giving them that. He even told them about the loops, the curtains. God he's an incredible interior designer. He gave specifications about the table of showbread, about the lampstand, how they should be made, about how the Ark of the Covenant should be constructed, the materials that should be used, the dimensions that were to be given. God very specifically laid it out. When God says, "I know the plans that I have for you," declares the Lord, Jeremiah 29:11. When God says that, "I know the plan," it's not think, it's not hope, it's not maybe, it's not that I guess. God says, "I've got very specific plans for you." Very specific. Now he's telling Moses, I didn't show you this just to let you see what I could come up with. He says, you make sure to make it down there the way that I showed it to you in the mountain. The mountain is a type of the Spirit of God. It's a type of the Spirit. So God says, whatever I show you in the Spirit, make sure that you create it, reproduce it in the natural, the way that I showed it to you in the spiritual, so that the two come into alignment. You see, Jesus told us, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, in alignment. Until things come into alignment, power does not flow. It is when there is an alignment of things. Have you ever been out? I grew up, people are so prissy and bougie now. But in my generation, we grew up, drinking out of what, folks from the north don't even know what this is, but we grew up drinking out of the spigot. You call it a faucet. Well, when it's on the side of the house, it's a spigot. And you're drinking from the water hose. And so we would be outside playing. We wouldn't go in the house to get water. We went over to the water hose. And sometimes, you turn it on, and so when another person is waiting, you bend the hose to shut it off. That was a shut-off valve. And when the next person's time to drink, what they did, they released it, they straightened it up, and brought it into alignment. Then the water flowed. Things don't flow while they're crooked, while they're bent. You have to come into alignment, and then the power flows. God's power flows in alignment. So God was saying, listen, what I have shown you up here, I want you to make it there according to the pattern. Don't deviate to the left nor the right. Don't take privileges and improvise on what I've shown you. How dare you think that you can improve on what God does? Everything that God made, when he did it, he said, that's good, if I have to say so myself. Now, sometimes he sort of outdid himself. And he said, that's very good. And so when God shows you something, don't ever assume in your own arrogance, becoming pompous and supercilious, that you know better than God. God says, I want you to make it down there the same way that I have shown it to you here in the pattern. And sometimes those of you who are in leadership, those of you who are bosses, those of you who are over anything, you can sometimes give instructions to people that are under your instruction, under your command, under your leadership. I know we call it servant leadership, but they're under your command. And just because you told them what to do doesn't mean they're going to do it and carry it out to the letter, does it? And this is why Louis Jepson Jr. said this, that people don't do what you expect, but what you inspect. And this is why God was giving him some accountability here. God said, listen, I want you to make this according to the pattern that I showed you in the mountain. Because people don't do what you expect, they do what you inspect. And so God wanted him to align this thing according to the pattern that he had shown Moses on the mountain or in the realm of the spirit. Now, here's what I want you to understand about the word alignment. The word alignment carries both discipline and destiny. Say discipline, destiny. The word alignment carries both discipline and destiny. It's not just about being straight. It's about being purposefully in line with something that is greater than you are. It's about being in line with something that is greater than you are. So when you talk about alignment, it takes discipline to come into alignment. And if you come into the alignment, it also speaks of destiny. Both discipline and destiny are built into alignment. Alignment actually comes from a French word that literally means to line up, or it means to arrange in a line, like you are arranging things in a line. In its ultimate understanding here, it literally means, when alignment means to bring into line. To bring into line. I wish some people would align their children. Just bring them into line, because we have so much in our culture right now that is out of alignment. It's out of line. This is not the way that it was designed to, and it all roots back to the most basic unit of society. It doesn't start out in the state house nor in the school. It starts in the home. It starts in the family. Starts in the family. God says, listen, because I'm just telling you, God's ordained the family.